I went from this to this in a little under 9 months. Stick around, find out how. Hi, sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled video, but I changed directions most of the way through this thing, came up with an idea. I'm calling this video my Sunshine Experiment. Stick around to the end. I have a usual video going on, but then there's a really long walking section in this one. If you want to find out what the Sunshine Experiment's all about, stick around or skip forward to the very end talking section, and I'll explain it all there. Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I am glad you're here. I talk about the Carnivore Diet, all things related to the Carnivore Diet, and some miscellaneous odds and ends. Today we're going to talk about a few of those miscellaneous odds and ends from questions that I've gotten. And we're also going to talk about the main topic today is, do I now know too much? I talked about this once before, but that was back when I was still in Omaha, so it's been quite some time. So we're going to revisit that topic. For those of you, if this is your first time here, I want to thank you for stopping by. I'm glad you're here. You may be wondering to yourself, what in the world am I watching here, Bob? Well, what you're watching is me walk. I know that doesn't sound like a super exciting thing to most people. But the fact is, I couldn't do this before I started the Carnivore Diet. I could barely stand for 2 to 2.5 minutes without severe pain from my arthritis and my spinal stenosis. Now I'm out here walking every day, and the main thing I'm doing here is to try and show you that it's never too late to change your life. Because I am closing in on my 60th birthday and spent, well, basically the middle 35 years of my life getting sicker and sicker and sicker. Actually more than that, because I was discharged from the Army at 20 and slowly got sicker and sicker until the day before my 59th birthday, when I started this carnivore way of life. So it's never too late to change your life, no matter how bad it's been to this point. You can turn things around. Now I know I'm an outlier. Not everybody is going to be able to turn things around quite as fast as I have, but it can still be done. And this is just my personal experience. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I don't pretend to know that much about science. I am slowly learning to interpret science papers, but that's a long, hard road. I talked about that a couple of videos ago. So bear with me as I give you an old retired truck driver's point of view on things. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome to you as well. I'm glad you're here. This should be a pretty good day. As you can see, the sun is not only bright. Let me just do a quick turn around with the camera, kind of tilted up. Sorry if the sun just blasted you in the face. But there is barely a cloud in the sky. And while it got down to freezing last night, I think my thermometer in the trailer registered 31 outside at one point during the night. It's now at about 55 degrees, supposed to climb up to 60. The clouds are supposed to start moving in a little later, but it's only supposed to be partly cloudy for the rest of the day, so we'll see how it goes. But I feel really good today. I got on my hiking shoes. I thought about trying to go out to the park today, but the 2 times I've tried that on Saturdays have been just such a bad experience with so many other people there. Trying to get you guys a proper video is just too hard. And today I'm here at the church absolutely by myself. It's just me, the birds in the bushes, and the cows in the field behind us. Because it's Saturday, the nursery's closed. And today is the last day of the marriage couples retreat going on down at Myrtle Beach. So everybody's out of town for that. So the church staff that normally takes most of Friday off and then comes into work on Saturday, they're not here today either. So it's just me and the animals today, which I'm okay with. The only thing I would change about this entire place is I would try to find a new trash company. Because as you can see, the dumpster is still overflowing. Even after I found the number on the front of the dumpster, gave them a call, they assured me that somebody was going to be out here yesterday. But of course it's still overflowing. There's no place to put trash, so I got tired of my trash bags in the trailer, so I stuck them in the back of my pickup, and eventually when that thing gets emptied, I'll just pull my pickup out here and unload some stuff into the dumpster. I know Pastor's going to see that when he gets back tonight and freak out. Because I understand. I mean, you have to understand, when he got here 10 years ago, there were about 23 people that belonged to this church. They couldn't pay him. He had to raise his own support to come here. And now, you see there's a brand new building here. They average about 300 on property on Sunday. Plus, with all their outreach ministries, they get really close to 500 people reached a week between, going to schools and prisons and retirement homes and things like that. So you can't argue with his success, but he's a little on the OCD side. He likes everything to look perfect on Sundays when people come. And I can understand that. He's a lot like Dave, a friend of mine who owns the miniature golf course in Omaha that I work at in the summertime. He spends, one of the reasons why he likes it when I'm there is so that he can know that I can take care of the clubhouse, customers, and all that kind of stuff with zero supervision. I've been doing it so long, I know how to do it. I'm good with customers. And when he's super tired because he's already worked 15 or 16 hours that day, when I get there, he'll take off, go home, get some sleep. But especially in the spring, as he's getting things ready to go for the year, I'll be down there covering the clubhouse, and he'll be out on the course literally all day, cleaning and setting up fountains, cleaning the carpets, fixing up the flower beds so they look nice, picking up all the little bits of trash that blow in from the mini mall across the way, making sure the grass is cut to a very specific length, everything. And it pays off because both here I just made this connection in my mind, both here and at the miniature golf course. I hear many people say, I like coming here because it always looks so nice. So anyway, Pastor's going to freak out when he sees that dumpster overflowing like that. But that's enough of the preliminaries. Let's get into the primary topic of, do I know too much? And of course the obvious answer is no. You can never know too much. We should always be striving to learn more and more and more. What I'm talking about with this is, do I know too much now to ever go back to eating the things I've cut out of my diet? Now, I'm not talking about the carnivore foods that I've eliminated because I've been doing lion diet. As all of you know, if you've watched this channel for more than 30 seconds, one of my biggest weaknesses that I have not ever given into is I love pizza. And I know everybody's right now jumping down into the comments. Oh, well, you can make a cauliflower crust pizza, or you can make a chicken crust pizza, or you can make a crustless pizza. I know there's lots of different recipes for making a carnivore style, or at least a keto style pizza, because I have yet to find an actual carnivore approved substitute for pizza sauce. So you're always going to pick up a couple of carbs, even if you use the lowest carb tomato sauce you can find, which is okay. But I've tried them all. And while they're good in their own right, they do not satisfy that craving for pizza that I've got deep down in my soul. But because I know all of the things that are in that pizza that make me feel bad, cause inflammation, cause my joints to hurt, all of the other bad things, I can ignore that. Oh, look at that, another roofing nail. Oh, that's like the third one of those I've found out here. Hopefully I get them all found today, because I'd hate for people to come to church tomorrow and leave with a bunch of flat tires. That would be bad. I'm going to set you guys down for just a half second. Now that I'm warmed up, I'm going to take this jacket off and just toss it inside the trailer here. There we go. Sorry about that. Now I can let my bare arms soak up some of that vitamin D that the sun's beaming down onto me. And it feels really nice. Hopefully you get at least one more day of this bright sunshine, so that I can erase all of the negative feelings that I've had from the moisture of all the rain, and I can at least get back to baseline before it starts raining again. So I know enough about how those things make me feel that I don't want to, it keeps me from ever thinking about having that food, even though I still, I still get the pizza cravings, not very often, but once a week or so I'll be sitting in bed watching videos of one type or another, and I'll suddenly, have that thought, wow, it's only about 6 miles over to to the Papa John's, I could order a pizza online, go pick it up, and be chowing down on pizza in 25 or 30 minutes. I don't do it. But those thoughts still cross through my mind, which tells me I'm probably never going to be over some of the worst of my cravings because I was sugar addicted for so long. In part due to the bad advice I got from nutritionists for both diabetes and heart recovery. Because I asked them both about pizza. And they're like, oh sure, if you get the thin crust pizza, that'll cut down the carbs and you'll be okay. Well, if you look at the carb count of a thin crust pizza, you can have, on the protocol she had me on, you can have 2 or 3 slices of thin crust pizza. But of course I've always been such a big eater that 2 or 3 slices just didn't do it for me, especially on the thin crust. I could power down an entire pizza and wish I'd ordered a second one, because I've always been a big eater. But yeah, no, which is why I just don't do it. Now, one of the other things that happened to me, I've told this story before. I went out to eat early in my journey. I was only down about 50 pounds or so. Went out to eat with ML, which stands for Mary Lorraine, but she likes to be called ML, so that's what I call her. But if you're in the Omaha area and you have kids and you're looking for a dance studio, Mary Lorraine's Dance Center is the place to go. Not sponsored, by the way. But I went out to eat with her just to catch up, because I hadn't seen her in about 1.5 years, because I'd been down in New Orleans taking care of Mom. And then got her house sold off when Mom got moved to Ohio. And then I came over here and spent last winter. So it'd been about 1.5 years since I'd seen ML. And we went to one of my favorite little breakfast joints called Jimmy's Egg. Again, not sponsored. But I had talked to him and said, I have bad reaction to seed oils. Could you, clean your grill off and just, if you have to use something to scramble the eggs, go ahead and just use butter or bacon fat. And I got, 4 scrambled eggs, 4 bacon, 4 sausage. And I had a really painful reaction the next day. And my theory, now, it could have been something in the sausage, because I don't know what kind of sausage they used. But my gut feeling is that there was so much seed oil soaked into the grill over using it, for however many years they've been open there, that I got some residual seed oil poisoning. And that really caused a reaction. Just what little bit you'd pick up from scrambling eggs on a mostly clean grill, which tells me just reinforces I don't want seed oils. I don't need seed oils. I shouldn't have seed oils, and neither should you. Now, we've had some discussions recently about seed oils out there, and saturated fats versus polyunsaturated fats, or PUFAs as people like to call them. is that I don't really do science, so I don't know if it's the PUFAs that are bad for you. My gut feeling is that they're not as bad as some people claim, but the real reason you should take all of your seed oils and throw them away, besides being a highly processed, invented food, is they are inflammatory. Not from the PUFAs, but from everything else, the way they're made, that even the freshest of, the seed oils, because of the way they're made, they're rancid at the molecular level and inflammatory. So that's why you should throw them away, because they cause inflammation in your body. If it takes a high pressurized chemical reaction to make something, you probably shouldn't put it in your body. Avocado oil, olive oil, and coconut oil are not actually seed oils, because in theory you could make those at home if you have an oil press. All you got to do is press those things and you get oil. But the other thing I've found out that I'm going to have to throw away when I get home, because now I know even more than I did before I left for the winter, is I have a little spray bottle of olive oil, which I was putting just a little light blast in the pan to cook from. And I have found that olive oil has a very low smoke point and is very bad for you if you're heating it up. Now, if you want to spray a little olive oil on your food, from all the reading I've been able to do, there's not a lot of problems with that. But the general consensus among the actual scientists and doctors that I listen to is that you should not cook with olive oil. It does all, there's a lot of sciencey explanations on how it's bad for you. If you really want to know all that sciencey stuff, go find one of the sciencey channels and type in olive oil and see what you find. But yeah, do I know too much? I see constantly, not so much in my comments, but in some of the groups that I follow to try and answer questions as often as I can. They're like, oh, I've been doing this diet for 2 or 3 weeks and I'm just not seeing any results. I just made a video a few days ago about how you need to be patient. You haven't actually tried the carnivore diet until you've gone for at least 90 days to see how it makes you feel. But now that we have learned and are continuing to learn on a daily basis, I know I've said this before, but my goodness, that sun feels so good. But all the things that we learn on a daily basis, we read, we watch videos, we're constantly expanding our knowledge. My question is, even if you're only seeing minimal results on the carnivore diet, what are you going to do? Go back to eating the standard American diet? go back to a low-fat, high-carb diet that you know made you sick in the first place. Or perhaps, instead of doing that, you should experiment some more with your carnivore diet. Add a little more fat, add a little less fat, try a different kind of meat. Because don't forget, just because beef makes me feel my best, that doesn't mean that beef is going to make you feel your best. I have always said on this channel, and I'll say it again right now for you, if what you're doing works, there's no reason to change. And anybody out there that you're listening to, if they ever say, well, this is the way I do it, and you should do it this way too, because it's the best way to do it, you should click the unsubscribe button from them immediately. Because at some point they're just trying to sell you something. They're either trying to sell you a product, or, as a certain young YouTuber has found out, people don't react well when you try to sell them your ideals. Just because you think some way doesn't mean everybody should think that way. Or even a little bit. You know, we are Americans. Well, some of us are Americans. I have viewers from all over the world. And thank you guys, by the way. But, free-thinking people don't like to be told this is what you have to do. I mean, there's the old, I don't know if any of you had chemistry sets when you were a kid. I know I certainly did. And when you first open the chemistry set, there's usually a big sign on the top of the box when you first open it that says, whatever you do, do not mix chemical A with chemical B. What's the first thing every kid does? Oh yeah, they mix chemical A with chemical B just to see what happens. And usually it, fills the house with fumes, or creates a big bubbly mess, or whatever it is they planned on. They do that on purpose to get you interested, because they know the second you say, do not mix chemical A with chemical B, the very first thing most people are going to do is they're going to mix chemical A with chemical B. So I feel I know too much to ever go back, not to just eating a standard American diet, but even incorporating some of the foods I love. I had a little slice of pie and a couple little pieces of cake at Thanksgiving. And because of the way, like I said, my sugar didn't react at all. I mean, I had perfectly fine blood sugar, so my insulin response is fine. But I know how that made my joints feel. That's a really good motivator to never go back. Because now I know too much, like I said, not just to go back to eating a standard American diet, low fat, high carb, but even adding in some of those foods that I love is never going to happen. Because I know how they make me feel. You can let me know down in the comments what your thoughts on this are. Have you had a bad experience with eating something you shouldn't, and now you realize, man, that thing's just never going to get back in my diet because of how it makes me feel. And I just had another thought. I've been eating those boiled eggs and have not been having any reaction. And I just had the thought, I think perhaps the whole thing that caused the eggs to give me a reaction, upset stomach, probably wasn't the eggs. It was probably that little spray of olive oil that I was putting in my pan to help them fry up. I don't have the tools down here, but when I get home again, I'm gonna try cooking eggs in bacon grease or some lard or some tallow and see if I have that reaction to them. I suspect I won't. I think olive oil is the culprit, which reinforces why I shouldn't have olive oil, especially not to cook. Because I didn't know that. Because there's so many, even if you find the clean olive oil that has no other oils in it, like I did, you still shouldn't heat that stuff up. One other quick thing before I turn this over to the other section. Well, two quick things. Number one, I still have occasional people popping in going, I don't understand why you're putting the music section in. What's that all about, Bob? Well, showing me walking as a placeholder. The music section, as everything progresses, and you've seen it in a few of my videos, when I take my camera out on hikes, I insert pictures from the trail into that music section. So once everything gets completely up and running and I'm able to do a lot more of that, hopefully I'll be, in places where I take so many pictures that I'll have enough pictures that I have to spread them out over 3 or 4 videos, so that every video won't just be me speed walking to turned up speeds. I'll have some pictures in there to help fill out the music section so that you can see where I've been. And the other thing, because you're going to be seeing this video on January the 30th, February is just right around the corner, and I haven't really thought of a February challenge. I don't know that we're actually going to do anything for February because we're just coming off World Carnivore Month, but I'm planning on making February an entire month-long, not just how to start carnivore, but how to keep it sustainable for you series of videos. And then I'll end up putting them all on a playlist so that people can click on it and watch them all the way through and get most of the information they need right there in that one set of videos. So my question to you today, go ahead and leave it down in the comments. I may answer it in the comments, but I'm also collecting topic ideas for those 28 February videos. Or is this a leap year? I haven't looked yet. It'll either be 28 or 29 videos, but if you could pick one piece of advice to give to somebody about either starting carnivore or maintaining carnivore, making it sustainable, what would that one piece of advice be? So please go ahead and leave that down in the comments as well. If you're still here watching, please go ahead and, do all the YouTubey things. Click like, click subscribe, leave comments, do all that stuff. But for now, sit back, relax, enjoy the music section. It's going to start here, but then I'm going to get out the bob cam and the trekking poles and do some more walking there. I don't know exactly how much of that I'm going to show you. I don't want this video to be quite as long as it has been, but I am going to do some of that. So relax and cue the music. Okay, here we are. What is the sunshine experiment all about? Well, after I got done doing the first part of the walk for today's video, I felt really, really good. Considering how bad I felt in the video that came out on Saturday, I thought, well, what's the difference? I mean, it can't be simply because it's 2 days later, because I certainly didn't get more fit in 2 days. And I think it was the combination of sunshine and temperature that made me feel so much better that I decided to redo the experiment from Saturday's video to see how far I could get. So I do apologize for this video being so long, but I felt it important to record as much of the walking as I could. And what I was doing is I walked 4 laps with the bob cam, and then while it was downloading and recharging, because if I keep my pace up, I can get 4 laps in with the bob cam before it runs out of memory and battery. So I do 4 laps with the bob cam, and then while it's downloading and recharging, I did 4 laps without the bob cam, and then I did 4 more laps with the bob cam, and so on and so forth. My third set with the bob cam got interrupted quite a bit because Pastor and his wife and Miss Jessica and her husband all arrived back from the couples retreat. There were things to be unloaded, and I brought Pastor up to date on everything that's going on the property for the last 2.5 days while he was gone. And then Brother Caleb wanted to talk to me, and then they went just miscellaneous odds and ends, things they'd like me to do around the property this evening, which I got done real quick, but it was just some stuff to get done to refill the baptistry and that kind of stuff. But it all went really well, but that's why that third set of 4 was kind of chopped up. And then the last set that I did, as the sun was sinking down, I was really starting to lose energy. I could really feel the difference as the temperature dropped and the sun wasn't quite so strong. Because, Dr. Berry has always said, and we all know that, getting out in the sun ups your vitamin D. The sun gives you vitamin D, and Dr. Berry has always said that, we know the sun gives us vitamin D, but we don't know everything that the sun does for us. And I thought, well, maybe the sun just gives us energy in general. And I have no scientific proof of this. I'm not a scientist, but all I can tell you is that I felt really good after recording today's video. I wanted to keep walking and again see how far I could go. Remember Monday, the video that came out on Saturday, I pushed as far as I could and got over 9 miles, didn't quite get to 10, and I felt really, really good. After, the next day I was tired, and I'll let you know how it goes in tomorrow's video, how sore I was after today. I'm not explaining this very well, but anyway, the long story short is I kept walking and walking and walking, and I walked to about the same tiredness. I can tell you that all the walking I did today, I started a little bit before noon, and I stopped walking about 5:15 with just a few breaks here and there. So I did a lot. I'll put the total in right here because I haven't actually calculated it yet because my watch is in kilometers and my phone is in miles, and I tend to take the average of the two because they vary a little bit here and there, but as close as I can figure out, I'll put that up in there to see if the sun would make a big difference. And I could tell that last set of 4 I did, as the sun was getting deeper in the sky, The clouds were moving in. It was not nearly as warm. It cooled back off to, almost 50 for that last group. And I could tell I was walking quite a bit slower. Now, some of that may have been that I was tired or getting tired. Some of that may have been the cold, so I can't tell you for sure. It's the sun giving us energy or the temperature giving us energy. But I can tell you I walked a lot further today. I don't know the exact total, but it was somewhere between 14 and 15 miles. I'll get the total for you. Again, I'll put it up on the screen. But that's what happened today. I hope you enjoyed the other parts of the video, but that's what I've got for you today, folks. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better today. I will see you tomorrow.